I was ranked number one when I was 15 in Britain, and a lady came up to me called Eileen Cartmel, and she was a team manager for the visually impaired judo team. And she said, "Would you like to come and compete with the visually impaired judo team?" And I wasn't too keen at first, to be honest with you, because like I said before, I didn't want to ever, I didn't want to do a specialist sport for my eyesight because I was competing mainstream judo. Anyway, we went along, me and my dad, because it was extra training, and I realised how good visually impaired people were at judo, not just me. Anyway, I went to the European Championships when I was 15 and I won the gold medal. I became European champion, which then qualified me in 1988 to go to the Paralympic Games in Seoul. And that's totally different. The Paralympics is something that you can't describe, you can't explain it to somebody, and you can't really prepare them for how big it is. You go out to the games, and the first thing you do is get your tracksuit and all your t-shirts and all this stuff, and you've got your Great Britain gear and stuff, and I've never had that before, and it was fantastic to put a Great Britain tracksuit on. Put your first Great Britain tracksuit on. It was brilliant. We travelled out to Seoul, and that's like a 25-hour flight, so that's something I'd never done before either. And you go out there, and judo's massive in Seoul, so everyone was coming to watch the judo. But before the competition starts, you go to the opening ceremony, and to try and explain to somebody to walk in front of 80,000 people in a stadium, you can't explain that. I'm very jealous now of footballers; they get to do it twice a week, and I think they don't realise how lucky they really are. But it was a fantastic experience to walk in with your blazer and your suit on and your shirt and tie and stuff, and have the announcer shout out Great Britain and you all walk in. It was a fantastic experience. Obviously, my first one. It was really special. The competition came 2 days after, and there was 25,000 in the crowd for the judo, because judo's massive in Korea. It's the second biggest sport after taekwondo. I drew a Brazilian first fight, and he was probably one of the weaker players in the weight category, and I beat him in about 2.5 minutes. I remember it really well. I threw him for two 7-point scores. I was quite dominant, and it sort of got me up and running then. I was only 16 years old, so I had no nerves, to be honest with you, because nobody expected me to win, nobody expected me to do anything. I was just going for experience, and if I could win a fight, fantastic. I had a few more rounds, and then I got through to the semi-final, and I fought a Korean in the semi-final, and so obviously the crowd are shouting for this Korean boy. And about a minute and a half into the competition, his arm dropped off me, and I thought, well, that's not right. But I kept on competing, and the referee said "Mate," which is stop, and he dislocated his shoulder, and he went off the mat. And I thought, well, that's the end of that then. I just stood on my line on the mat, and the doctor clicked it back in, and he came back on. Anyway, he came on 5 times and went off 5 times because I kept pulling the arm. Every time the referee said start, I started fighting. I grabbed his arm and kept pulling it, and he kept pulling it, popping his shoulder out. And we were on the mat for about 29 minutes altogether. Not fighting, but we were actually stood on the mat, and he was going off, having it clicked, and I have to stay on the mat when he goes off to have a medical. So the crowd were booing me. I got through, and I got to the final, and I fought a Japanese in the final. Now, obviously, through centuries of wars, the Japanese and the Koreans don't like each other. So the Korean crowd had half an hour been booing me. Now they were cheering for me, and I remember standing across the mat, facing the Japanese boy, and I was scared, because to fight a Japanese is like the ultimate at judo, because they created it, they invented it. So there's sort of a mystique about them. You think they're better than what they are. Anyway, we started fighting, and it was a tough fight, a very tough fight. It was 50-50, to be honest with you, and I just managed to get a 3-point score in about a minute, and I hung on to this score for quite a while, and then the referee gave me a penalty for not attacking, so it evened it up. So I thought, right, I need to attack here, because he had done most of the work, because I was in front and he was chasing the fight. Anyway, with about 2 minutes, about a minute and a half to go, I attacked him again, and I got a 5-point score. And I knew that was a big enough score to hang on to. So I just, I got in the trenches, I got my head down, and I toughed it out to the end, and I won my first Paralympic gold medal from Seoul. And these 3 that I'm going to show you in this next 10-minute talk are the only 3 Olympic or Paralympic gold medals for judo that Britain have ever won. I'm the only men to ever won one. And it was a fantastic experience. After I'd won the competition, all the other weights were won by Japanese. I was the only Westerner to win a gold medal. So the Koreans took me everywhere. he took me to every judo club in Korea. I was doing 3 a night, showing medal off and showing me skills, and I was treated like a bit of a superstar really, and it was a really special career.